Vincent Hale didn't expect to stall in the middle of nowhere. The sun was sinking over the Texas plains as his red Ferrari sputtered and coasted to a stop. He stepped out in his tailored slacks and Italian loafers, swearing under his breath. The dashboard had given no warning, just sudden failure. This stretch of highway barely had a shoulder, let alone a repair shop. Vincent wasn't used to being helpless. He was a self-made millionaire, founder of Hale Automotive Technologies. But at that moment, he couldn't even fix his own car. He opened the hood, staring at steam rising from the engine. Not that he knew what to look for, he hadn't touched tools since his 20s. The silence of the open road felt heavier than usual. That's when he heard a small voice from behind the fence line. "Need help, Mr.?" He turned, startled to see a young girl, no more than 12. She was dressed in torn jeans and a faded red shirt, her ponytail sticking out from under a trucker cap that read Tommy's Auto Garage. Her cheeks were smudged with dirt and grease, and she carried a wrench like she'd been born with it. "You live around here?" Vincent asked. She nodded. "My uncle's shop is just past that ridge. I help out after school." She looked at the Ferrari with curiosity and a glint of confidence. "Mind if I take a look?" Vincent chuckled, half amused, half desperate. "Sure, be my guest." She approached the car like a surgeon approaching a patient, popping the hood further, inspecting with her eyes first. "Looks like a fuel injector problem," she said after a few minutes. "Clogged, probably. Ferrari engines don't love this dust." Vincent raised an eyebrow. "You really know what you're doing?" She grinned. "Want a bet?" Before he could answer, she slid under the car. Vincent watched, stunned, as this small girl moved with certainty and skill. She tightened, adjusted, tapped, and reset a few things with remarkable precision. Her tiny hands knew exactly where to go. In less than 15 minutes, she climbed out and said, "Try it now." Vincent got in, turned the key on, the engine roared to life like nothing had happened. He stared at the dashboard, stunned. "You actually fixed it." She smiled, wiping her hands on her jeans. "Told you, I've been under cars since I was 5. Vincent stepped out and extended his hand. "That was incredible, thank you." She shook it with surprising strength. "I'm Lila." Her eyes sparkled with pride. He pulled out his wallet to give her some cash, but she waved it off. "No need, it was fun." Then something around her neck caught his small, silver heart-shaped locket. The sight of it made him freeze. His heart thumped hard in his chest. He knew that locket, not just vaguely, it was the locket, a gift he'd given his wife Clara years ago when she was pregnant. He'd had it custom-made, engraved with her initials in a space for a baby photo. Clara had worn it daily. The day she disappeared, Vincent had searched for years, hiring investigators and lawyers, but she'd vanished with their infant daughter. His world collapsed after that. He never remarried. Never stopped wondering what went wrong. "That's a beautiful locket," he said, his voice shaky. Lila looked down. "It was my mom's," she said softly. "She died when I was a baby. My aunt and uncle raised me after her car crash. She always wore this, so they gave it to me." Vincent's breath caught. "Your mom? Her name wasn't Clara, was it?" Lila blinked. "Yeah, Clara Hale." That's when Vincent knew this wasn't chance. His throat tightened as memories flooded in Clara's laugh. Her soft voice, the nursery they painted together. He remembered the fight, the stress, and how she had left one rainy night, saying she needed space. And now, standing before him, was the girl he'd lost all those years ago. "Lila," he whispered, his voice barely audible. Do you have any photos of her?" She tilted her head, cautious. "Why?" He knelt beside her. "Because I think she was my wife, and I think you're my daughter." The words hung in the air like a thunderclap. Lila stared at him. "What? That's not possible. My dad died in an accident before I was born." "That's what I was told." Vincent slowly opened his phone and scrolled through an old photo album. He showed her a picture. Clara, young and glowing, holding a baby wrapped in a pink blanket. Lila's mouth fell open. "That's me." Neither of them spoke for a moment. The wind rustled the nearby trees, and the golden light of evening bathed the quiet road. Lila clutched the locket, looking from the photo to Vincent. Her face was a mixture of shock, hope, and confusion. "Why didn't you come for me?" she asked, voice trembling. "I did," Vincent replied, his voice cracking. "I searched for years. No one would tell me anything. Then I was told you both died." He took a shaky breath. "But here you are, fixing my car like it's nothing." Lila looked down, tears filling her eyes. "I always felt different, like something was missing. I thought it was just because I didn't have a mom." He reached out gently. "You had a mom, and you have a dad. Right here." She didn't move at first, but then she stepped forward and wrapped her small arms around him, whispering, "Hi, Dad." Vincent held his daughter tightly, like trying to make up for 12 lost years in one single embrace. He could barely breathe, his chest shaking with emotions he'd locked away for over a decade. Lila didn't pull back either. She clung to him, tears silently soaking his dress shirt. It felt strange to people, so familiar, yet strangers. After a few minutes, they sat on the edge of the road, the Ferrari humming softly beside them. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" she asked quietly. Vincent swallowed hard. I think Clara tried to come back, but the accident must have happened before she could. I was told you both died. I even had a grave with your names. Leela stared into the golden horizon, wiping her cheeks. So, I've had a dad all along, Vincent smiled painfully. And I've had a daughter. I just didn't know where to find her. She looked back at him. Well, you found me now. After that, everything moved quickly. Vincent insisted on meeting her aunt and uncle that same evening. Leela hesitated at first, unsure if it would upset them, but agreed. She guided him to a small blue garage tucked off a gravel road. Tommy, her uncle, stood outside wiping oil from his hands. He froze when he saw Vincent stepping out of the Ferrari with Lila by his side. His expression darkened. What's this? Vincent raised his hands calmly. I'm not here to start trouble. I just found my daughter today. I just want to talk. Lila jumped in before tempers rose. Uncle Tommy, he's my dad. I saw the picture. I wore this locket my whole life, and it was from him. Her voice cracked. Tommy's expression softened slightly. We didn't know, he said, gruffly. After Clara's crash, they told us no relatives were left. We raised her like our own. Vincent nodded, and I'm grateful. Inside, they sat at the kitchen table, as Leela sat between the two men who loved her, one by blood, the other by choice. Vincent explained everything: how he and Clara had been separated during a rough patch, how she vanished overnight, how he searched and eventually got news she had died in a wreck. I never stopped thinking about her. About the baby, he said. And then today, on a back road, my car breaks down, and a little girl with my wife's locket fixes my Ferrari. Tommy shook his head, stunned. She really fixed your car. Vincent chuckled. Better than my own engineers. She's a genius. Lila blushed, her legs swinging from the chair. Cars talk, she said shyly. You just have to listen. Vincent smiled, just like her mom. The room, once filled with tension, now radiated peace. They didn't have all the answers, but something long broken was beginning to mend. In the following weeks, Vincent didn't waste a second. He returned with legal documents and a private tutor to ensure Leela's education continued uninterrupted. But he didn't try to rip her away from the family that raised her. Instead, he offered to share custody, splitting time between his ranch estate and their small town. He spent weekends learning how she liked her cereal, what bedtime stories made her laugh, and how she could name every engine part in the garage before she could multiply numbers. In return, she asked questions about her mom, their old house, his work, and his lonely years. He never sugar-coated things, but he never overwhelmed her either. Their bond grew organically through long drives, backyard repairs, and late-night stargazing. One night, as they lay on the grass, Leela whispered, I think I was supposed to fix your car. Vincent looked up at the stars. You didn't just fix the car. You fixed me. A month later, Cross and Hale Innovations was launched, a new joint venture between Vincent's firm and a local youth workshop. Started in honor of Clara, Lila, in her oversized coveralls, was named honorary co-editor. Her face beamed as she stood on stage beside Vincent during the launch ceremony. News crews captured the moment: the mysterious millionaire who reunited with his daughter thanks to a broken-down Ferrari. But Vincent didn't care about the press. All he cared about was the proud sparkle in Leela's eyes. After the event, she tugged on his hand. Dad, can I keep working in the garage too? I don't want to be some famous person. I just want to build stuff. He knelt beside her. You'll be exactly who you want to be. Fame's got nothing on you. She smiled and slipped her locket into his palm. Here, you hold it for now. I've got you. Anyway, Vincent kept the locket close from that day forward, worn beneath his shirt like armor. It reminded him not only of Clara's love, but of the miracle that came through oil-stained hands and a chance encounter on a back road. Every time he looked at Leela, he saw two lives stitched back together with wrenches and wonder. He brought her to his headquarters, where she helped redesign part of a sports car prototype. Engineers stared in awe as she explained air-fuel ratios like she was born in a lab. Vincent stood back, watching her light up rooms just by being herself. It was hard to believe 12 years ago he'd thought he'd lost everything. Now, he had a daughter who made the silence sing again. That night, he wrote a note and tucked it into her backpack before bed. You fixed more than a car. Leela, you restored my heart. Love always. Dad. Some stories begin with a roar. Theirs began with a stall, but it was the break in the road that finally brought them together. A man too rich for connection. A girl too young to know what she'd lost. And a mother's love that somehow lived on through a locket, a wrench, and the spark of something too strong to be coincidence. That day, a Ferrari broke down, but a family was rebuilt. And while the world may have seen a story about a genius kid and her long-lost father, Vincent knew better. He hadn't found her. She had found him.